And this is Ishaan Hajiwadi versus Stark Automotive, otherwise doing business as South Point Hyundai. All right, I have someone here on behalf of the plaintiff.
Yes, hi. My name is Ishaan Hajiwadi, and I'm the plaintiff.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for being with us. All right, who do I have on behalf of South Point Honda? I'm sorry, South Point Hyundai.
My name's Ashley Callahan. I'm the lawyer for South Point Hyundai, and I have also with me a client representative who can testify if needed, Mr. Darren Whit.
Good afternoon, Mr.
I'll
Callahan.
ask,
Good afternoon, Mr. Whit.
Your Honor, is the share screen function disabled?
Yes, typically we can grant it to you, Mr. Callahan, if and when the time arises. We do not allow it because can you imagine the things that pro se parties might share unintentionally?
True.
Although I'll be honest, I've had counsel completely share what they were doing. So, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
So we do allow it, but we always give sort of limited instructions before we get to it. All
okay,
right.
no problem.
All right. Well, good afternoon to everyone. Mr. Hajiwadi, and I guess Mr. Whit, Mr. Callahan, if you're going to testify as to time, let me go ahead and swear everyone in. If you'll all just raise your right hand for me. Do you understand that by appearing in court and offering testimony, you're swearing or affirming that you'll tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under a penalty of perjury? Do you so swear?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right, Mr. Hajiwadi, I read your petition. You say that you purchased a used Tesla from the defendant's automotive group, and that at the time you purchased the vehicle and the paperwork you were given, the vehicle was titled as was described as a long-range all-wheel drive model.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
But that after you purchased the vehicle, you later discovered that it is not a long-range all-wheel drive.
Yes, Your Honor.
So is it neither, or is it all-wheel drive but not long-range, or?
It's a standard range all-wheel drive model. They just called it Model Y all-wheel drive. It was a special release by Tesla.
It is all-wheel drive, but it's not long-range.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you're suing essentially for having overpaid.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How much did you calculate as the damage?
So the breakdown overpayment is $3,000. The loss from having to resell the vehicle, $1,500, and then filing and service cost $150. Total $4,650. Very conservative estimate.
All right. So $3,000 you overpaid because you wouldn't have paid that much for the standard range, and then $1,500 is what you thought you sold it for at a loss.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you calculate the $3,000 for overpayment?
It's from the original documentation where basically they said that the starting price between the standard all-wheel drive and the long range is basically $3,000 is the difference. It was stated by some news articles and whatnot that I found.
So that's something you heard from the dealership in this case. That's something you found when you were researching the difference in the two.
Yes, Your Honor, and also you can see it in the document I provided where Tesla offers for the trade-in value. It's significantly lower than you would get for a long-range model.
Let's take a look. You said that's one of the things you submitted.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the trade-in estimate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's take a look.
And the contract is there as well, if that's the once I made it through the whole process.
Okay, let's take a look. So this is one item that you sent me. Like where you said this is 3 pages. This is Mr. Callahan. It's 3 pages. First one says your trade-in estimate. I can see that it's dated May 17th, 2024. Mr. Hajiwadi, when did you purchase the vehicle?
The standard range model?
So when did you buy this car? The one that you thought was a long-range all-wheel drive. When did you buy the car from the defendant?
I have the contract. It's May 10, 2024. No, that's the first payment. Sorry. Was it March 2024? I believe. I'm trying to find the date. March 29, 2024, Your Honor.
Okay. So you bought the car in March. When did you discover that it wasn't a long-range vehicle? I'll stop sharing so I can see it again.
So it took me actually a couple of weeks. So Teslas are kind of strange, like because this was a used model. That means someone else was driving it before. So they have like a range calibration system inside. So if someone drives it in a certain way, it could display less range than normally it would have. So it might take some time to recalibrate as you drive it. So first I saw that it has significantly less range than what I expected. I thought that maybe someone was just driving it like crazy. So I started driving it right and wanted to see if it would recalibrate, and it didn't. So then I started researching, and I had to like forum deep dive and whatnot. And then finally someone mentioned that, hey, you might have this one special version that I never knew even existed at that point, right? And so I started researching that, and I found out, yes, I indeed had this one special version. So this was not this release was not something that was like a loud release. This was only released in a few months in 2023. Tesla did not offer it as like a new purchase. They only sold it as part of their fleet as used, I guess. And only like a couple thousand of them was sold from what I understand currently. So anyway, when I really confirmed it is when I reached out to Tesla and they gave me back that document, the estimate, because it states there that it's a Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive, not a Tesla Model Y long range. So that was the confirmation that it is indeed.
Mr. Hajiwadi, you bought a car in
Yes, sir.
March of 2024. You began
Yes.
to drive it, and you realized
Yes.
that it wasn't giving you the performance you expected from a long-range vehicle.
Yes.
And then through your own investigation, did you become to suspect that you had that what you had was not long range?
Yes.
And then you gave it to Tesla, and Tesla confirmed it.
Yes.
And that's what this document is.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look then. So again, this is 3 pages, Mr. Callahan back. This is that 3 pages again. I can see at the top it says May 17th, 2024. That's why I was asking, when did you buy the car? So this is about 2 months later. Trade-in estimate for the 2023 Model Y, 10,000. Trade-in estimate, 32,900. The trade-in value is determined. The trade-in is determined using the details and accident history you provided. Estimates reflected market conditions. Following your order list of why trade-in with Tesla. I actually don't see anything on here that says it doesn't mentions anything about the range, sir. I just see Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive.
1 second, let me bring it up. It says on the very top, Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive. That is the actual name of that model.
Okay, but I'm saying is that nothing on this paper talks at all about range, right? It doesn't say Model Y all-wheel drive.
Correct.
Long
So
range,
this
short
one
range
is
is just silent as to that. So this doesn't.
correct, Your Honor. This one is just called Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive. That's the official name for this vehicle. And in the news stories I found, they confirmed that this is a special version of the standard range, basically. Like I said, only a few was released basically in a short time frame.
Mr. Hajiwadi, do you have anything from a dealership, from a mechanic that says this is not a long-range Tesla?
That specifically says that it is not a, I mean,
Yeah, because that's what you're suing for. What yours, and I get it. And I saw the documents. You're right. Twice in the paperwork, it says long-range all-wheel drive. What you're saying is that you didn't get a long-range Tesla. What I'm asking is, do you have something in writing that says this is not a long-range Tesla? Because the trade-in estimate does not do that. It's just silent, which is not the same thing. I needed an affirmative finding or a mechanic to say that's not what he bought.
So it's just to make sure it's not that it's silent. The Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive is the actual name of that model. It doesn't have anything else to it. It's literally called Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive.
I can understand that, Mr. Hajiwadi. What I'm saying though is that you're suing because a feature you purchased doesn't exist. That's your allegation. That in the contract, and I see it twice, it describes the model you bought in the sales contract and in the insurance one as a long-range all-wheel drive. And if I understand your lawsuit, you're telling me that you did not get a long-range all-wheel drive, that you just got a standard range. And what I'm asking is, do you have something from a mechanic or from Tesla confirming that? Because what you're saying is, well, that's the name of the car. The name of the car does not prove to me that it's not long range.
So the only way I can answer that, Honor, no, I don't have a separate document that specifically will say that, no, this is not a long range, but if it was a long range, then it would say it's long range because that's part of the name of the car.
And see, that's it, Mr. Hagberry, you don't work for Tesla. I don't know that. I've never owned one of these cars. So in order for me to believe you, you need evidence. How did you come to know that the title must say long range?
Bec- w- So every long range will say long range on the documents. And also when you look on the computer of the car, it will say long range for every long range. I don't know how else to prove it because I don't have the car anymore. So I mean, I have the contract where I sold it. There's that. That should say also all-wheel drive. I believe I included the contract where I sold it to Tesla.
You sold the car back to Tesla?
Yes, that's the trade-in estimate is from them, and then I went through with the purchase because I wanted the long range one specifically, so I ended up purchasing the long range one afterwards.
Mr. Callahan, I'm curious. Mr. Whit, I know nothing about Tesla titles. Is that correct? If it was long range, would it have to be in the title of the car?
I don't necessarily think so. I've learned a lot more about Teslas in the past few days getting ready for this than I ever knew either, because we're not South Point, we're a Hyundai dealership. But we do trade-ins. So we take trade-ins and then we resell them in the used car department, which Mr. Whit is in charge of. The way we find out what a car is by entering the VIN number into a tool that we have called Provision. And that's what I wanted to share with you was the Provision printout that we did when we took this car in. And then we entered the VIN number in. It produces it gives all the details of the car that are associated with the VIN number, and then also multiple estimates of value from various sources. That's how we determine how much to offer a customer on trade-in. We obviously need to offer them less than what we think we can sell it at retail for. That's exactly what we did here. And I would say our estimates are not that far off of, or actually in some cases lower than what Tesla was offering or did offer in their trade-in view. It's very critical in that Tesla offered to take a trade-in. They're offering him less money because, one, it has 3,000 extra miles, and two, they're taking it on a trade and they're going to need to resell it. They obviously have to pay less so they can sell it for more.
Yeah, y'all want to make money. I got that. I'm just trying to find out if his car is long range or not, right? Like, I'll show you one of his documents.
Yeah.
This is the odometer disclosure statement from South Point.
Right.
Your client created this document and it says Tesla Model Y long range all-wheel drive. It's right there.
Right.
Boom. So this is what I'm asking. How did y'all know it was a long range all-wheel drive?
Mr. That's Callahan, what I can show you on this other page.
It sounds like what you're saying is that you took the VIN number and the VIN number spit back out Model Y long range.
Yes, exactly. There's no way to tell by looking at a Tesla if it's long range or standard range.
Sure.
The only way we could possibly know is putting it in our system, which is what we did. And that's what it came back as. I mean, we're not a Tesla dealership. All we can do is go by what data is associated with the VIN. Okay. And that's how we do it.
So your client put the VIN number in, the VIN number spit back that it was a long range all-wheel drive. Yes?
Yes.
And that's how it was sold to the plaintiff. Yes?
Yes.
I'm just curious. Do you know, is that correct? Or was the VIN number wrong when it spit back and said it was long range?
I think the VIN number is right. I do not know that it's not a long range. What you're saying is exactly what I thought when I first read it. We have no reason to know if it is or isn't. And that estimate from Tesla doesn't say one way or the other. It doesn't say standard or long range. But I will say this: the price that they're offering is exactly the same as some of the prices we were getting back when we did an estimate. So I think it is what we said it was, and that's how we valued it, and so did Tesla valued it the same way.
So there's been a little bit of issue with the value of Tesla recently.
I'm sure yeah.
And there's issues with the amount of car market, whether they're used or not, right? So
right.
Price in and of itself is not all that helpful to me. I'm just as a question of fact, Mr. Hajiwadi, and this is really it for the plaintiffs for your case, sir. There's a question of fact that I can't answer, and that as the plaintiff, you have the burden to demonstrate to me. So what you've said, and I take it as true, you said, I bought a car. They told me at the dealership that it was a long-range battery, which is a specific thing that you would want. And I agree, that's probably going to cost more than the standard one, right? If you buy a laptop with more memory, it's more expensive than the standard version. I get that. Mr. Callahan is saying that their research also says that it's still a long-range vehicle. So the question of fact then is, Mr. Hajiwadi, how did you determine that it wasn't a long-range vehicle?
Based on the battery, so basically this one had 279 miles of total range. I did a battery test. It's 100%. The battery was 100%. The long range had 330 miles of battery. I also, when I got the estimate from Tesla, I asked them, and there you can see it says Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive. It doesn't say it doesn't say all-wheel drive because it's omitting if it's standard range or long range. It says all-wheel drive because literally this release is called Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive. Its own category. That's literally the name. That's the brand. That's the
Here's
model
the
of
thing,
the
Mr.
product.
Hajiwadi, I don't know that, and you don't work for Tesla to be able to prove it. This is where a witness or an evidence would have it. So like if you had brought me something from a dealership where you took your car and got it inspected, and that said, this is not a long-range battery, you'd have a case right now. Do you have anything documented from someone other than yourself that says this car is not a long-range battery? The title alone is not proving it to me, unless you can show me a document from Tesla that says it must say it.
I don't know how to produce something like that, Your Honor.
Because that's kind of what I was looking for, right? It would be examples of this are someone had their car repaired. They said we put in a brand new such and such. Then they took their vehicle to another dealership or another mechanic who came to court and said, Your Honor, I inspected the car. They did not install the such and such. It's missing. I took photos. I'm a licensed mechanic. I've done this for 20 years. I know what those things look like, and I looked and it's not there. That is the sort of third-party evidence I'm needing. So when I look at your items, right, I see the trade-in estimate. The trade-in estimate doesn't make any mention whatsoever as to the battery. The exhibit agreement to furnish insurance, that is from South Point. It also says that it's a long-range vehicle. There's no dispute that South Point believes they sold you a long-range vehicle. The sales disclosure, same thing, says Tesla Model Y. It doesn't even mention whether it's got a battery or not. It's just how much you're paying in interest. And then there is the odometer disclosure, which also says it's a long-range all-wheel drive, but okay, we all agree that at the time it was supposed to be a long range. Same thing for the installment. What I need is something from a third party saying, I looked at this vehicle and that is not a long-range battery.
I understand, Your Honor, what you're saying. I'm just not sure how I would be able to get something like that without some kind of court order, because Tesla is a company and they're not gonna give me anything if I just ask.
Well, Mr. Hajiwadi, I'm not able to give you any advice right now because I have some suggestions, but that would truly veer into legal advice. There are ways to do that, and you could still trigger it again. So what I'd say is that, at least for today, because there is a lack of evidence to show that you did not receive the thing that you bargained for, right? I don't disagree that you paid a price for a vehicle that was supposed to have a long-range battery. What I haven't seen is any information that you didn't get that. So, Mr. Hajiwadi, today, what I would say is that it would be a plaintiff take nothing. But even though you as the plaintiff did not succeed, you have the right to appeal this decision. You have 21 days to do that. If in the next 21 days you do ascertain some evidence that this vehicle, for whatever reason you can prove it, and I don't know, that might be, I'm not even going to hesitate that. If you believe that you could find that evidence, or you do find that evidence, you have the right to appeal. You can appeal and then look for that evidence if you like. If you don't take any action, though, on day 22, the judgment becomes final, and then that's kind of the end of the road. Okay, sir?
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Hajiwadi. I appreciate you bringing the case. It's certainly a question that again, my ruling today is not because the answer is I just don't know, right?
Understood.
But you have established very clearly that that's what you were sold. Question is, did you receive it?
Okay.
All right. All right, then. That would take care of it. Plaintiff take nothing, all parties to bear their own cost, okay? All parties are excused. Thank you all very much.
Right.
JC, thank you for your help.